When you tell people you're gonna ride your motorcycle 1,000 miles into Mexico, they look at you like you're crazy. People have this idea about Mexico, and it's like the Wild West. I guess that's part of the appeal though. There's this feeling there that anything can happen, and you really never plan for it. You just go, and it happens to you. That's the beauty of it. We're not really sure why the bike isn't starting. We think that there's a short. Take these two off, take this one off, and the tank will come on. We'll see what happens. That's pretty much what we do. We just get in. Go to Mexico! Fix things.
So Dave and I had talked about doing this trip from San Diego to Cabo on our motorcycles, and as the trip got closer, the word got out and more people wanted to come, even if they didn't have a bike.
All right, so last night at 10 p.m. I decided that I was actually going to ride a bike and not just ride in the crew truck. Good old Craigslist. The tires are good enough. It's going to last to Cabo. I mean, the thing runs smooth.
With Eric on his new bike, we headed for the border and we crossed without a problem.
It was amazing. As soon as we crossed the California to Mexico border, the change. I mean, it was immediate.
This trip is by far the longest ride any of us have ever done. Brooks and Paul, they had to borrow bikes to even come on this trip. And that bike that Paul's on, he's borrowing it from Dave. So Dave has two bikes on this trip, and they're both well over 30 years old.
Jim spent like 5 months building his bike and finished it just days before the trip. What could possibly go wrong?
What are you offering? Are you offering?
How's that bike?
It's good.
Are you feeling like you're going all over the place with that wind?
No.
Yeah, right, dude.
Brooks is the most inexperienced out of the group, and he's on a brand new bike, a bike that I just bought and put him on because the other bike was way too wobbly. It was a dirt bike.
Meanwhile, I'm over there telling you like, no man, I'll switch anytime. No, I'm not switching ever.
Well, I think my bike like every drop of oil out of it that it had. That might be shavings from my piston.
Now it's leaking metal.
A bunch of stuff on my bike broke because there's a lot of dirt roads, and just like my bike has no rear suspension, it's a hardtail, so it's just like slamming me all over the place. After a long day, we finally met up with our host.
We lost guys,
But a couple of the guys didn't see the turnoff and kept going.
Eventually the guys found us and we met back up. It's been a long day, everyone's really hungry. We're in Mexico, the heart of Mexico. We go and get hot dogs.
I hate hot dogs. I was so starving and freezing. I was never so happy to see any type of nourishment.
Pretty fun so far. Everybody's feeling like this is a real adventure. Anakin Skywalker. Anakin. This is what life is all about. Get out and do something that scares you to death.
Dave is nuts. Like, if you see the orange helmet, you probably only get to see it for a second as it speeds by you. 105, 110 miles an hour.
In the dark, we're talking like blowing past 15 minutes.
After a pretty difficult day, which took a little bit longer than we thought, we finally made it right after midnight.
I realized that my bike had some pretty serious problems. I can't believe we're still going to be doing this for like 11 more days. All the problems weren't as major as I thought they were going to be, but I did need a welder. I guess our host, his neighbor, has a welder, so he's just going to weld up my stuff for me real quick, which is sweet.
Dude, I would rather break down in a country like Mexico than anywhere else in the world. Everybody's a mechanic.
I'll call you next week. Maybe by then, baby.
Trabajamos para la prevención de SIDA.
They got a luchador, a little condom man. An astronaut, little condom man. Dracula, little condom man. It doesn't matter if you're a vampire, a spaceman, or a professional wrestler.
You need to use protection and be smart about it.
After our safe sex lesson from our host, we finally hit the road again. It's cold though, and it's raining.
Everybody's just cold, like shivering. I thought we were gonna go to Mexico and just be riding in the sun and surf. What's amazing is just the scenery, like all these rocks.
So everybody stopped for lunch again, but because it was so cold, they're not as excited to get back on the bike, and so we just get further behind.
We had a game plan to stick together after dark, and that worked for almost 20 minutes.
It seems like all of our problems happen at night, when everybody's supposed to stick together.
Eric's bike won't start, and he's like probably at least 10, 12, 20 miles back.
So it'll actually turn over, it'll even start for a little bit, but the second I try to give it gas, or if I switch it into gear, it dies. It totally dies.
So right now we're rolling up to a truck that ran out of gas. We have packed a lot of gas, so we're gonna share ours.
Good work, good work, good work, Bailey. Nice.
So today we bit off a little more than we could chew. We were about 150 miles away from our next destination. We happened to stop at this restaurant, and somehow someone convinced the owner to let us sleep and stay in the restaurant. So naturally we were excited and started a dance party.
5 a.m. tomorrow. 5:30. This is the time you want to
So
get
it's
up.
only the second day of the trip, and I can already tell we're gonna have so many crazy stories to tell when we get home.